Welcome and thank you for tuning in. This video is about using the power of compassion to improve our world systems. Any system void of compassion will eventually become self-destructive. Because we create many of the systems we live within, we had better use compassion. Otherwise, we'll end up hurting ourselves. Compassion is a superpower. It gives us the ability to access greater knowledge about individuals and about collective groups, and it drives our motivation. If we embed compassion into the systems we build, we enrich all of life, and we can build systems that are beneficial for everyone. In this video, I'll explain 10 prerequisites for, essential ingredients in, and outcomes of creating compassionate systems and improving the ones that we already have. This information is important because compassion can be used to build functional systems and societies that protect us from being pulled into division and into exclusion and frustration and dysfunction. Although I do give a bit of explanation in this video about what compassion is, for a deeper dive into a description of compassion and its power in your individual life, please see the video on this channel that's titled Compassion is a Superpower. So during this video, keep in mind that compassion itself is not so much something we create, but a power that we access. Sometimes we are motivated to seek the power compassion gives us, but often we just wait for it to show up within our social systems, and that's not how compassion works. That we have to intentionally use and embed compassion into the structures of our systems as we build and maintain them. The amount of compassion's power in our systems is up to us. Without compassion, our systems get bogged down and they further the problems that we may be trying to solve. But with compassion, we can be compelled into new insights, innovative ideas, and the motivation to act, all in alignment with realistically possible solutions that are beneficial for all life. I'm Dr. Lynette, and this video is about our opportunity to use the superpower of compassion to build societal systems that uplift and care for all lives. This video does include information about 10 areas, and they are what compassion is. Number 2, how compassion, or the lack of it, is related to systemic function, dysfunction, and what I will call a collective learning disability. And that collective learning disability, it limits us from learning to build better systems. Number 3, the limits and potentials of compassion within human systems. Number 4, asserting the independent healing power of compassion into interdependent systems that are weakened by the ignorance of indifference. Number 5, the powerful outcomes of compassionate systems like sustainability, trust, emotional security, physical and psychological health, and freedom from fear and division. Number 6, some differences between natural and man-made systems. Number 7, the important difference between a moral sense and a moral system. And number 8, using compassion to upgrade collaboration and competition. Number 9, how nature teaches us about the systemic healing powers of compassion. And number 10, the personal impact on you of world systems that are fertilized with compassion. This video channel includes over 100 videos about improving your life, improving relationships, expanding understandings about man-made systems, naturally occurring systems, and more. So if you are interested in any of that, please subscribe to the channel and share the videos, and don't forget to click the like button. The point of this channel is to discover the best of ourselves and make living in this world a wonderful experience for everyone. So number 1, what is compassion? There is another video on the channel where I delve into explaining it, but I want to take just a minute now to explain compassion in general. The Dalai Lama describes compassion as, quote, a totally unbiased mind that wishes for the liberation of all sentient beings from suffering and cannot be mistaken for pity, which may have a connotation of superiority towards the object of compassion. End quote. Compassion is different than empathy or pity. In a previous video, we looked at the importance and impact of empathy, which is in part the ability to understand the perspective of another. Pity is emotional sorrow towards another. Compassion means to feel with or to feel together, and it creates a motivation from the feelings experienced. Compassion allows us to see and feel into another's experience, and it motivates us to act in order to relieve their pain or to embrace their joy, or both, depending on the situation. Some ingredients within compassion are honesty, respect, acceptance, and reverence. So how can we create and evolve compassionate systems and systemic solutions to world problems? Well, number 2. What has happened thus far, which I do not think is our potential, is that many man-made systems are void of compassion, and they have created a dysfunctional self-reinforcing feedback loop. And this blinds the system from what it needs to learn in order to evolve, and this results in a collective learning disability. Martin Luther King said, quote, "A nation that continues year after year to spend more money on war than on programs of social uplift is approaching spiritual death." End quote. When a society does not learn as it grows, it marginalizes functional systems and it promotes dysfunctional ones that break apart. When we try to fix these systems without relying on the wisdom and honesty of compassion, we get stuck in a feedback loop of dysfunction, creating the same problems over and over. For example, societies and subcultures that are non-competitive and provide for every life within them, they have become increasingly marginalized over time. Rather than see the interdependent collective well-being of these cultures as evidence of human potential, they are seen as dysfunctional by cultures who hold material wealth as evidence of functionality. We hold in high regard the cultures which tend to rely on financial and social power, or on a ruling class, and on the myth that some lives are less than others. But keep in mind, the minute we see others as less than, we decrease our moral intelligence, and thus we decrease our ability to create human systems that benefit everyone. And I will explain what moral intelligence has to do with systems in number 7. Number 3, is there a limit to the compassion that can exist in human systems? Well, that depends on how we structure those systems. We live within both the organic systems found in nature and our man-made inorganic systems. In nature, organic systems are comprehensive. They consider all life and they put no limits on compassion. Inorganic, man-made systems are invented by humans, and so we humans, get to decide the level of compassion allowed. If the goals of a system exclude or disallow compassion, that system will be destructive. Systemic goals that are in opposition to the existence of compassion for all life are destructive to life. Many destructive systems were set up under the pretense that says compassion weakens systems. But compassion creates powerful systems because it's not limited by conditions, problems, or pain. Systemic pain without compassion eventually hits a brick wall of despair and helplessness. But pain combined with compassion leads to increased insight, innovation, and motivation. The causes of problems do not decrease compassion's ability to motivate us towards innovative systems and solutions. These systems thrive because they respect and incorporate the interdependence of all life, no matter the conditions or problems. Compassion gives us the wisdom and the ability to release ourselves from destructive systems. Compassion is wise, and it shows us the roots of problems and the insights that are necessary for meaningful changes and solutions. We decide whether we limit compassion's power in our systems or not. Number 4, because compassion is not conditional or dependent on anything, it is an independent power that can be used to motivate the health of interdependent systems. Compassion does not exist conditional to factors of cause and consequence. Compassion already exists. It is waiting for us to immerse our motivations in it. However, if we think compassion is controlled by sensory experiences, we lose its information and power, and we form systems that are blind to compassion and systems that are weakened by the suffering that these blind systems create in their members. When systems contain indifference and lack a reverence for any life, further problems evolve. And while it may seem foolish to have compassion for people who are enveloped in the problems of the world, problems such as hatred or violence or selfishness, or it may seem foolish to you to have compassion for other species, having compassion for everyone is a key ingredient to creating systems that free us from greed and scarcity and motivate us to evolve towards a collective well-being. A collective that can thrive. When what we see is painful, we must assert compassion and not passive indifference. Indifference creates weak and destructive systems. When systems are indifferent to the experiences of individuals or hold the belief that anyone is less than another, this is a factor in systemic dysfunction coming to the surface to be seen and to be healed with compassion and love. Whatever obstacles are limiting this healing are located in unnecessary baggage we are carrying with us through time. Some of the unnecessary bags were handed down to us through many generations. Thankfully, this does not limit the compassion that's available to us. But until we get rid of the baggage, we limit our access to compassion. We have the power to let go of anything blocking our access. Compassion is the light, destroying the darkness of indifference. It motivates us to create systems that are beneficial to all. Buddha said, quote, "All beings tremble before violence. All fear death. All love life. See yourself in others. Then whom can you hurt? What harm can you do?" End quote. This harm can be physical, emotional, mental, or anything that says one life is less than another. It can be difficult to lay aside judgment and blame when constructing systemic solutions, but judgment and blame distract from and block compassion. So decoupling solutions from any judgment or opposition towards a person or people allows freedom from less than sanctimonious righteous certainty. Anyone in someone else's shoes would have all the roots that brought them to this moment. Instead of opposition, we need to assert compassion into our systemic structures. Number 5, why are systems of compassion so powerful? Well, think about this. Just as the amount of access to healthcare it helps to promote the level of health or disease in a community or a country, access to compassion, how we choose to interpret, perceive, and feel with others, determines the level of health in the attitudes we create our systems from. If we feed our systems with fear, we will create systems of disconnection. We will create systems that are weak, and we will be personally weakened by fierce toxic chemicals that produce anxiety and block the power of compassion. But if we feed our systems with love and compassion, we combine all of our minds, our hearts, and our abilities, and we learn about the bigger picture that we can see through collaboration of perceptions and insights. This frees us from fear-filled belief systems, and it strengthens our courage to connect with compassion to the experiences of others. We cannot have security in a sustainable way if our systems are at the cost of another's security. We all value security, and it is a matter of fact that the well-being of each life is interdependent with the well-being of all. Each life is interdependent with the collective well-being. This is not an idea or theory, it's a fact. In this way, compassion is like a boomerang. The more that we put compassion out into the world, the less we are hit by or controlled by negativity around us. If we embed compassion into our cultures, it will upgrade our experiences. If we do not, we will destroy ourselves. Whatever blocks compassion from infiltrating our systems is a blockage to life's fullness of purpose and meaning. Compassion is not automatic, and it cannot be taken for granted. Compassion is like a compass guiding us, and we have to pay attention to it. As we expand the number of areas where we use compassion to decide systemic protocols, the territory of our wisdom, health, and joy will expand too. Compassion opens a doorway to see beyond what we thought were limits to systemic problem solving. Number 6, because nature's systems are comprehensive and authored from beyond our human brain's current intellectual abilities, we are not able to replicate the complexity and the many layers of nature's interdependent systems. We can try, and it's best that we do try, but we have to remember that our try is never fully complete. In nature, systems evolve from all life, and all life evolves from these systems. We humans are a part of nature. Man-made systems are dependent on natural systems. When we understand the nature that we are a part of, we have more accurate information about how to build our inorganic systems. In nature, compassion is necessary for healthy human evolution. Compassion gives us an intelligence to see further than the individual life and past the limited human-centric orientation. We must have epistemic humility, and this means that we must be realistic, knowing that our human mind is not as intelligent or comprehensive as nature is in creating systemic balance, solutions, and health for the collective. We must remain always uncertain of what we think we know. Compassion gives us the wisdom to create systems that use and do not dishonor or diminish natural resources. Compassion for the lives of other species prevents the greed that creates a self-fulfilling prophecy of scarcity, overuse, and abuse. Compassion motivates us to value the collective well-being of all life. But if we refuse to feel for the lives we touch, we make ourselves the weak link in nature, and this will lead to our demise. No life is able to survive alone. No species is able to survive alone. The more intertwined the roots of trees are with each other and with the land, the stronger the individual tree. Each life, including its love, is interwoven with every group, every subgroup, and every individual. Number 7, there is a difference between a moral sense and a moral system. A moral sense is comprehensive. A moral system is limited. Compassion, like love, is a moral sense. A moral system can be made from a moral sense, but it cannot be the moral sense. It can't be the moral sense itself. Man-made moral systems are limited. Our moral sense must always be building our moral systems, our human systems. Even the best man-made social operating systems based on cooperation, collaboration, and mutual support cannot be as comprehensive as morality itself. But by using moral senses like compassion, we can strive to create moral systems. And as we continue to evolve our systems, our minds, our ideas, and our inventions, they must continue to be nourished with compassion. Otherwise, if our systemic evolution outpaces the moral evolution in our systems, we will destroy ourselves. Number 8, competition with ourselves to do our best can evolve us. But competition against others divides our strengths rather than collaborating and combining our physical, intellectual, and emotional assets. A divided collective mind can create collective learning disabilities because it demotes cooperation, fosters a lack of trust, and it leads to existential risks. We have to address our collective learning disability. We must realize that the human species' survival depends on creating and maintaining communication and collaboration between groups and not just within groups. We must seek to collaborate with all forms of wisdom, including the wisdom of nature that we are rooted in and growing from. Number 9, nature is the teacher for the students who are ready and wanting to learn solutions that can heal the collective learning disabilities we have created. Our goal must be to learn from nature and implement its comprehensive systems, not to control or manipulate them. To quote Tom Shadyac, quote, "There's one fundamental law that all of nature obeys that mankind breaks every day. Now, this is a law that's evolved over billions of years, and the law is this: nothing in nature takes more than it needs. A redwood tree doesn't take all the soil's nutrients, just what it needs to grow. A lion doesn't kill every gazelle, just one. We have a term for something in the body when it takes more than its share. We call it cancer." End quote. Nature teaches us the healing ethics of compassion. This ethics encompasses all life, not just human life and not just mammal life. In nature, it's in being with and feeling compassion with life itself that humans heal. This experience is not limited in the ways that we tend to think it is. For someone living alone in the woods or on a mountain or on the sea, they can still experience active compassion. When we think we humans are disconnected from the rest of nature, our compassion makes us know we are completely interconnected. Nature teaches us the simplicity and complexity of mutual connections. Each life is having a unique experience within a physical body. Yet we also see that each of our experiences are totally connected and not severed by having separate physical bodies. Everything we do, everything we are, impacts the environment. This is literal, and it is an important fact in the natural world. We are born into bodies that are literally nourishment for other life. Another animal could eat a human, and the human body would nourish the other animal. Our human bodies are designed to nourish the soil of the land. We are born interconnected, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually with all life. We are life, nourishing life. We are responsible for the degree of compassion in our man-made systems. So is there a limit to this compassion? No. We are simply to tap into the fabric that all life grows its roots from and into. Nature guides us and shows us the enormous potential, impact, and power of our systems. There's an infinite full picture to see, and compassion helps us appreciate this more. Number 10, what do systems fertilized with compassion create for the world, and what impact can this have on you? Well, to grow a secure world, we must make collective decisions that show all lives we all belong. We must fertilize our systems with compassion to bring hope, meeting each of us right where we are and helping us each grow further. In this process, we will see the physical and emotional evidence of compassion's benefits in our own lives. Compassion increases your own security. The stronger your compassion is, the more you sense the security in interdependency, the security in your wisdom in asserting honest connections and in your decision making. You increase your emotional intelligence when you know that what you do to another life, you do to yourself. To be wise in personal and group decision making, realize that wisdom always requires empathy, compassion, cooperation, collaboration, and reverence for all life. We have the power to anchor ourselves in love and joy. These are always within us. The more we are controlled by materialism, fear, or division, the less free we are to access and experience love and compassion. Freedom to access love is what makes for the joy in life. When we tap into and flow from compassion, we are free from emotional attachment and dependency on causes of problems and division. We can then be secure to feel the pain of others. Their pain becomes as important as our own, but it does not take away any of our strength. In fact, it increases our motivation and strength. And the joy of others becomes as joyful to us as our own. We must look at our lifestyles and our habits clearly so that we know what is nourishing joy and what does not benefit life. So how can we see ourselves objectively enough to do this? Well, we have to be emotionally available to listen with our hearts to the hearts of others that are asking us to see the consequences of the systems we participate in. When we are open to compassion, we can be trusted because we have the motivation and the courage to align our thoughts, our thinking, and our behaviors with reverence, honoring our deep interconnectedness with all life. Rather than being hungry for connection, we can be full of compassion and stay motivated. If you liked this video, please subscribe to the channel, click the like button, and share the video. Videos on this channel are about love's power, nature, relationships, and more, and it is free to subscribe. Welcome, and thank you so much for your time.